think influencer culture has made y'all way too used to having ridiculous access to people, and now you're out of control. Now y'all out here pestering people for the details, the juicy gossip on their trauma, running up on motherfuckers at gas stations, and then being shocked Pikachu that maybe they might want a moment of privacy. Listen, I can't tell anybody what to do with their platform, but I have seen motherfuckers over the past few years of this TikTok boom pull out their cameras during some personal ass moments that I don't think I or anyone that I personally know, like, that our first reaction would be like, we got to get a TikTok of this. Like, more than ever, I think people's lives just became entertainment to y'all. Now you can't imagine anybody else operating differently. Maybe it's an object permanence problem. Like, if you can't see it, it's not happening. And if you can see it, you're entitled to it. Because you know and understand that you're a complex individual, complex human being with a lot of different issues, a lot of layers, a lot of things going on, a lot of problems that no one could possibly know about you from looking at a 30-second clip of you, even a 10-minute interview, or seeing you pretend to be somebody else on a screen for 2.5 hours. But that can't possibly be the case for anybody else, right? Because let's be so fucking for real. You want the details of some people's trauma immediately right now, because to you, it's just tea. It's just entertainment. You want the tea. You want your entertainment. Even though you might understand that if something traumatic happened to you, if you want to take forever to come out and talk about it, that's completely okay. Yes, oh my God, fucking caveat. It's a reasonable expectation that if you're a public figure, that people are gonna be all up in your chili. But again, this is not about them. This is about y'all. And this is about the fact that y'all take that reasonable expectation, and you run with it as an excuse to be terrible. And you can't tell me that this does not factor into how you treat other people in real life that are not famous. You can't tell me that that doesn't say something about your humanity. You can't tell me that it's not concerning that your understanding of consent ends when you need entertainment. I tell you what, I've been driving with my windows down and music blasting for years. Maybe it's a Southern thing, I don't know. I've been doing that for years. At no point has that ever been an invitation for somebody to run up. So when I achieve A-list status, is that now going to be an invitation for somebody to run up? Somebody gets big enough, then they just become public property. And again, this is not about the reasonable expectation of fame. It's the fact that y'all are so fucking giddy and excited to use that as an excuse to treat people like public property. And you can't tell me that that doesn't factor into how you treat people in general. Again, it must be an object permanence thing plus entitlement. Anything that is not happening right in front of you is not real and is not happening. Anything that happens to be happening in front of you, you're entitled to it. On a personal example, I don't know why I've been feeling called to talk about this experience lately, but I'm going to. And I don't have to share anything more about this if I don't want to while we're on the subject of consent. When I was in the psychiatric hospital for an attempt 3 years ago, I was terrified, partly because I was like, what are the comments gonna say? This is 10 days without being online. Like, do I have to explain myself? Do I have to say where I've been? Like, I'm really embarrassed. I'm really ashamed. You know what a bunch of the comments said when I got back? Some of them were genuinely wellness checks. Like, I hope Nicki's okay. But a lot of them, guys, where's the Loki content? You might say, well, Nicque, how could people know? How could people possibly know that that was what's happening? Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it? How could you possibly know? How could you possibly know? But for a lot of people, the only thing that they could think of my absence was that they weren't getting their content. And that hurt. And maybe you guys got really used to a lot of people exploiting a lot of parts of their lives, a lot of private parts of their lives for likes and views and shares. And now that's the only way that a lot of y'all can perceive people that you consider to be famous. Let me just tell you, you gonna need to cut that shit out. It's creepy, it's weird, it's not good. Beyond the reasonable expectation of fame, beyond how much better these people may have it than you financially or whatever, or eagerness to dehumanize people regardless, there's no way that that doesn't say something about you and your humanity. Think about that. Also, by the way, a lot of these people that you consider famous don't make as much money as you think that they do. We don't make as much money as you think that we do. So if other people having more money than you has been an excuse to treat them like shit, then that's kind of a moot point. And if you think that fame is enough of a reason to treat somebody like shit because attention is something that you value, and if you had the attention of millions of fucking people, then you think that you would be happy. Well, it is not my fucking fault that you didn't get enough attention as a child, and I highly suggest that you address it in therapy.